Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to paint a beach scene. We're going to be using a palette knife. Going to keep it really simple and fun, I think, hopefully. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's in a chat tonight, so if you've got questions, you can ask those there in chat, and we'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty, welcome guys. Hope you're having a good Tuesday night. Whoops, there's Fitzpickle saying hi. Her dog. We are all prepped and ready to go here. And let me explain what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas. This is a Fredrix archival canvas board. And really, I think that, sorry about that. I think that this would be, we need to close that window so he can't see the other dogs walking by. He loses his, you know what. I think this would be really cool on a really large canvas, like if you had a kind of a beachy theme, or like even in a bathroom or something like that, like on a really large canvas. I think this would really make a nice impact, and it's super simple. I don't think that would take a whole lot of tools to kind of get a neat look on it. So just food for thought. You're going to want a large brush to do some of the blended transition between the beach and the water. So I've got a 3-inch Aspen. It's called a Mottler, Mottler, flat.
Are you the Mottler crew?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Close. So just any kind of large brush, though even a foam brush would work. You just want to have something large that can cover a good amount of space on your canvas really quickly. And then for most of the rest of the details, we'll be using palette knives. So I just kind of grabbed my palette knives that had more of a broad flat edge. This one's a little bit rounded, but you're just kind of going to cover the most space as quickly as we can. Another option that you could use is either some gloss gel or some self-leveling clear gel. This is a little bit more fluid. It'll kind of puddle out and smooth out. So this would be something that I might do like as one of my finishing steps. I don't know that I'm going to do it tonight. We'll see kind of how it goes. I'd kind of like to do it, and I did it in another lesson with the gloss gel. The only problem with it is it takes a long time to dry, and it's fairly thick, and so once you put it down, you really can't do another layer until it's dry. So that may stop me from using it tonight, but I'll tell you kind of when you might use it yourself if you want to. And then a toothbrush for some splattering, and then I'm going to probably paint in some of the wave details with, I've got a long script liner here from Aspen. This is the number 2. So, and I grabbed an angle brush too in case. We'll see how the palette knife goes. I'm hoping to do 99% of the stuff with palette knife and just do the little first part bit with the brush, but we'll see. Okay, let's go over our colors. I'm going to spray these down with a little bit of water. I just have water in my spray bottle there. And I'm going to spray my canvas too while we're talking about the paints. That'll kind of open up the canvas fibers and get it ready to go. It's got little pieces of stuff on there. Okay, sorry. Now, yes, well, it just bugs me when that happens. All right. We've got burnt umber, so just kind of some sort of a dark brown. I think that's tilted. Okay. Didn't check my camera there. Okay, burnt umber and phthalo blue and phthalo turquoise and phthalo green yellow shade. So phthalo blue green shade, phthalo turquoise, and phthalo blue green shade. You really could get away with just like a blue and a light green, or even the blue and a yellow to make the turquoises and the greens in between, the turquoises. Or you could probably do the turquoise. It kind of depends. Just use whatever colors you've got. That's my point. I'm using 3 because it'll give me a little bit more depth of color range. But you really could do it with 1 and just kind of a yellow to mix in a little bit more of a turquoise color. All right. moving on. Yeah, unbleached titanium. Titanium white, I've got it in fluid and in the thicker. These ones are heavy body. These ones are the fluid as well. And then this one is Zinc White, which is a transparent white. It'll just kind of give us a little bit of softer look on some of the beach waves. So, and then some gloss glazing liquid. If you do not have this, the Zinc White or the glazing mediums or any of that, you can still do it just with water instead of the glazing mediums, and you can just use titanium white instead of the Zinc White. Again, just use what colors you've got. You don't have to do it exactly the same colors as me, but I'm just showing you what I'm using, and you can adapt it however you need to. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit of water here on my 3-inch brush. I don't want too much on there, but just enough. And there's already water on my canvas here, so that's going to help this go on a little bit more smoothly. I'm going to grab some of that unbleached titanium, maybe get a little bit more water on there. You usually do have to add just a little bit of water to the heavy body acrylics. I'm just going to start up here at the top, and I usually start with my lighter color because the lighter colors will get more affected by the darker colors and vice versa. So if that makes sense. So I just want this to go on nice and clean. I don't mind if I have a little bit of this color in with my blues, but I don't want my blues in this color. So we start with this. I'm going to work our way down, and then I'm going to get just a little bit of that ultramarine or the burnt umber on the corner of that brush and just kind of work it through. And then kind of have it down here. And I'm gonna really quickly, I'm pressing down pretty hard now because I want that color to blend. So if I'm wanting it to kind of push up into, and I'm even gonna pull it up this way. All right, there we go. So I've got a little bit of that brown now in there. And then I'm gonna start with, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the turquoise here, and again just doing it on that corner that I used the burnt umber. That way one side of it is at least like a little bit light, got a little bit of that lighter color in it, and see how nicely that's going to blend out for us and make a nice soft gradation. And that's about where I want it to stop because I'm going to have the ocean waves up here. We'll add a little bit of green to those, but I think that that will work pretty well. So kind of the green maybe at the bottom third, and fade it up until about the halfway mark right here. Okay, so work quickly. I'm not going to be stopping to talk like I am here, probably, hopefully. And then I'm going to get more and just go down here with a little bit of the darker color. And I probably, looking at this, I probably could have just gone with this color, but we'll see. Oops, it's wanting to move around on me. Okay, so in order to get that line a little bit smoother, I'm just going to kind of pull from the bottom here. Just it'll kind of sop up any, I have not added any more color to this, so I've just got whatever's on my brush left. And if you have too much paint still on it, you can wipe it off at this point. And then I'm just going to kind of slowly work it up here and work that line until it kind of starts to blend a little bit better for me. And each time I go back over this darker area, it's going to pick up more color that I can kind of transfer back up into this area. That looks pretty good. Nice, smooth, soft blend. And I'm going to just stop there and call that good. I'm going to, before this dries though, or well, you could let it dry and then do this, but I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of speckles to my beach. I know this is like a drone shot and it's not got speckles. You can't really see the speckles in the sand, but I like speckles in my sand, so I'm going to do it. So you can leave this part out if you don't want to. I'm just going to add some white, probably like 1 part brown to 2 parts white, something like that. And then add enough water till it's kind of a milky consistency. And I don't have a glove handy. Let me grab a glove because I do not want to get this on my pretty nails. Just did my nails. Oh, you know that I should pay attention to these things. I don't remember.
Wow. How many times?
I know.
You are getting as bad as I am.
Get my little color chart there and I'll tell you. All right, so I'm just going to hold it pretty far away, and I don't want huge speckles, so if they're coming out real big, you might add a little bit more paint, a little bit less little bit less fluid. Okay, let's see. We'll just hold it up here and see which one. Does that look about right?
That looks about right.
Baroque pearls. 2 Baroque pearls, but Baroque. OPI.
Oh, God.
See how those our splatters now are a little bit smaller. And I'm going to get more of the Unbleached Titanium. I don't make the names. I just, that's an OPI choice, not mine.
They are cute.
They have a lot of puns.
I mean, like, a lot of your other art terms don't make any sense. But
oh, really? Like what?
Like, I forget.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that.
Thanks. I need to know now.
I wasn't expecting the Spanish Inquisition.
You started it. All right. So adding, again, you want your splatters to be bigger, add more water. You want them to be smaller, add more paint. And so I've kind of done a little bit of both here with 2 different variations of that brown, kind of very light browns on top of that. And Mark's going to take that for me and clean it off, or dry it off. I mean, not clean it off. I'm cleaning off my toothbrush here, and look at that. That's a mess. I don't think I'm going to need this, but I'm going to leave it on for just... No, I don't think I'm going to need the thing. All right. And then also with my brush here, if I don't want to get my water all dirty, well, you can't really see my water, but it's right there. I can use my paper towel and just try to get most of the color off on my paper towel. And then that way my water won't get as dirty as quickly. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to leave a bunch of water in this and just set this off to the side so that it stays wet while I'm finishing my painting. If you want to, while you're drawing your canvas at this point, you can wash out your brush. That'd probably be a good idea. I forgot to give it to Mark to do that, but usually I'll have him, or I'll stop and clean out my brush if I'm not going to use it again during the painting, especially if I think I'm going to be a while, finishing it. So you always want to use soap and water when you're cleaning out your brushes when you're using acrylics, because the paint will get up into the ferrule and it'll get trapped up there. You won't see it. It'll look like maybe the brush is clean. This brush is probably going to tint blue because that's normal for these types of bristles. They kind of end up tinting a color even though there's no paint in them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual paint getting up in here and drying, and then your brush will fuzz out and it won't make a fine point for you anymore if it does that. So if you let that paint dry up in there, you'll pretty much ruin that brush for some uses. You can still use it for other things, but you won't be able to use it for detail work. Okay, that looked nice. I just like that little bit of a speckled look. You can leave that off if you don't like it, but that's just my preference. I'm kind of noticing it's a little bit yellow. I'm wondering if I want to tone that down with a little bit of a purple. I don't think I will. I'll just leave it. But if you wanted to, you could add maybe just a slight bit of red to your sand color if you wanted a little bit more reddish. You know what? I don't know. I think I want to. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a little bit. I'm just going to do cadmium red medium. So I'm adding a color here. I'll add this to my list later. But I'm going to add a little. I'm just going to add a wash of this color over the beach. It'll give me a little bit of a warmer, more reddish brown tone to my beach area. You could also use probably burnt sienna would be a good choice as well. Like if you have that. Just any kind of a warmer brown. Instead of using the burnt umber, I could have used that. So I am going to have this clean to do this though. So I'm just going to wash that off? No, it's okay. I think I can get it. I used my paper towel to get most of the color out. I just don't want a ton of that blue in there. I don't think it'll be a problem. Okay, so I'm going to grab my unbleached titanium, and this time I'm going to grab glazing medium because I want it to be kind of transparent. So glazing medium will help with that. I'm going to grab just a little bit of that red. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this burnt umber too. That's left over here that was kind of a little bit transparent. And I mean just the littlest bit of red for this. I don't want it to be pink really, but I just kind of want it a little bit softer. And then let me go ahead and grab a bunch of that glaze. Okay, there we go. So I want to be able to see my sand speckles through. If I do this too dark, I won't be able to see my sand speckles through. But this is just going to give it a little bit more of a rosy tint. It is covering up a lot of my sand, but I can always sprinkle it later again if I want to. There's a country coming out there. Been living in Arkansas too long. Every now and then I hear myself go a little country in my accent. Or I'll say y'all.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. I grew up in
Just
California. It just sounds weird for me.
For a SoCal girl?
I am.
For a Valley girl to be saying y'all?
Yes, like totally.
Like totally y'all.
Okay, so there we go. I don't know. I can't tell much difference. I think I'm going to go a little bit brighter with that red. A little bit more of it. And I want to make sure that I really blend it out on my palette here before I take it to the canvas because I don't want it to... There we go. Okay, now I see it. I don't know. It's a subtle difference, but it makes me happy. So there you go. I don't know. You can leave it out if you don't want to. I probably should have started with this color. So instead of doing just the unbleached titanium, just add a little bit of a reddish tone. Like I said, burnt sienna would work too. Something like that. Okay, so that's going to be fine. We can leave that. I'm going to go ahead and kind of start at the bottom here, and we'll work our way up, and hopefully this will dry before we get to it. All right, let me think. I kind of want... I'm going to go ahead and grab... What do I want to grab? No, I'm going to grab a... What?
Nothing.
I'm going to grab a 10 bright here. I'm just changing things up all over the place. You could use a sponge too. I thought about grabbing my sea sponge, but I didn't want to add anything too weird. So at this point, I'm going to get some of the phthalo blue, a little bit of the burnt umber. This will just neutralize the color so it's not so bright. And the turquoise. So phthalo blue, turquoise, and burnt umber. The burnt umber again will kind of neutralize it, make the phthalo blue more of a neutral turquoise, dark turquoise color. And I'm going to get some water and just use a kind of a very thin wash and just kind of add some little bits of, and just kind of using the corner of the brush here. Little bits, and then let's go ahead and kind of map out where this wave is going to be. Just a little bit of a dark tone here. Wiping that out. And I might just use my finger, honestly, and just kind of rub it out so that it's not super obvious where those are. Makes sense? So just kind of like that. It doesn't have to be anything too obvious. I just want a little bit of a darker tone in here. It's going to look worse before it looks better, so don't worry about it. Kind of, we're going to cover most of this up with other layers, but just want a little bit of other stuff happening here. It's not just the blue. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab the palette knife now. And I'm going to get my white, and I'm probably going to need to clean off my palette here. I need a spot to work, so let me just go ahead and clean this part off right here. I'm not going to need that color again right now. All right, so I'm going to take that white and I'm going to get the green, just a little bit of it, mix it in here. And again, if you don't have this green, you can add a little bit of yellow to your phthalo blue. I'm going to get some of the unbleached titanium. That'll give it a little bit more of a neutral. See how it kind of neutralized that a little bit, made it a little bit more of a natural light green color. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of this and just have a little corner of this be a little bit darker. Okay, so we'll see. I'm going to just start kind of laying on some bits. I may want it a little bit darker than that, so I'll just go ahead and kind of mix some of this in over here on top of that darker blue that I did. And I'll start with that color. I'm just going to start, I'm going to scrape up that color and just kind of start laying it down and rubbing it in. And really, that's all I'm wanting. I'm just kind of wanting it to transfer a little bit into there and grab the texture of the canvas. It's kind of a light application at this point. I'm not going anything too heavy, but this will really kind of almost confuse the eye and give it some interesting texture and things happening. And I've used the thicker textured canvas board too, so this one has got a little bit more texture than the normal one that I use. I think I'm going to switch to a little bit different brush here. Or a little bit different palette knife here. I'm going to roll a little bit on, just kind of scrape through here so I have a little bit of a rolled edge here. And kind of find my wave and come up just underneath that wave so it's a little bit thicker right there.
Good job.
Kind of in my space a lot.
Is this bothering you?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, getting some of that lighter color, and I'm going to kind of pull it up here. This is still a little bit wet, but I think it's okay to kind of start going up over it. Okay, you can see how it's just picking up the texture of the canvas. I don't have a ton of paint on here. And if I kind of load it sort of flat like this, then I can kind of set it just about anywhere and just kind of very lightly start to drag it up and it will grab that paint off in random patterns. So just doing this really light green here, and I'm going to go up to about right in here somewhere and do some shapes there. Okay, I think that's good. So I want to go over beyond the point where the green ended here. So just up a little bit up into my beach area. Okay, getting some of that lighter color. So I've got some of the darker down, and then I'm going to kind of come in here and put in some a little bit more targeted areas. So makes sense. Okay, and then wipe that off. I'm going to go ahead and get my Zinc White with this. Now this is a little bit more fluid, so this will come off hopefully a little bit easier. Yeah, see how much it's coming off. And I'm starting with the Zinc White because this is a little bit more transparent. It's just going to be a little bit softer. When it dries, it'll be a little bit softer white. And then I'll save my bright white for the very end. So getting that scraped up. It's kind of mostly on the tip there, but it is kind of, there we go. And when it's hitting this green that's already kind of wet, or still wet, it's kind of blending a little bit too, which I like. There we go. So grab a little bit, bring it over here and kind of flatten it out, and then you can kind of drag through one last time to get a little thicker right there. And this is where I'm kind of trying to sort of define that tip, that leading edge, so I can get a little bit more on that tip of the brush if I need to, and really kind of go back in here. But I think I might go ahead and use my liner brush, like we were talking about, to do just a few like extra little details. So if this doesn't kind of go exactly the way you want it to, and you kind of have to know that this is imperfect. It's kind of a much more abstracted way of doing this, so it's not going to be exactly like your photograph. And if you know that and kind of just embrace it ahead of time and embrace the kind of messy, less detailed look that you get with it, I think you'll have more fun with it. I think if you go in kind of trying to have a preconceived notion of how exactly it's going to look, I think it'll be a little bit more frustrating for you, because I probably could paint this, 5 times in a row and it would all come out differently, because it just depends on how much paint is on my palette knife and how much pressure and what part of the canvas is, a little bit more textured and how it grabs the paint off my palette knife. So just kind of embrace the mess of it, embrace the chaos, the unknown aspect, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's turning out pretty good. I think I want to bring this up a higher, right up in here. So I'm going to go up in here with it and try to get a line up there. I don't have hairs on there for some reason. I picked up a little bit more of the titanium white too, so got a little bit more impact there. Nice. And so you can kind of just decide where you want your surf line to be there, and kind of use that tip of the brush to sort of draw it in. And if you need more paint on there, just kind of pick it up, more often, and just touching the tip here. I'm not touching the whole knife down. Just trying to get some nice random thicker application of paint in a few areas here. And you can even use the heavy body acrylics if you want for this part. Okay, I like it. And then I'm just going to kind of use it across and do some sort of up and down wave action as I'm drawing this color on, pulling. So I'm getting a little bit thicker at the tip along that edge there, and just where you put it down first, you're going to get thicker places, so just kind of know that too. You can go back in and kind of scrape back some of it too. So if you get it too thick, you can come back in and kind of scrape it back a little bit if you want to. I think that's a interesting look. You can scrape it back and then kind of go back over it and smooth it out there. So I kind of thinned that out right there a little bit. And then let me go ahead and just kind of put that little wave in there. This This is obviously an overhead drone shot, so I think this wave is kind of rolling that way away from us, so the tip of it is a little bit brighter. Yeah, nice. And then if I get some areas that I don't really love, I can get some of the, kind of like the green for this. A little bit of the green. I don't know why I grabbed the blue there, but a bit of the green. Yeah. And I can cover up parts of it with that. Kind of blend it out a little bit. Kind of just tugging that wet paint down this way, leaving that lighter white edge right there. Get some of that. Okay, there we go. It's amazing how quickly this comes together, isn't it? It's really pretty already as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my my liner brush, and you can leave this part out if you don't want to. You can just leave it just like this. Just do a couple more layers and be done. I'm going to get the Zinc White, or actually, oh shoot, I was using the Titanium White that whole time. This was my Zinc White. Darn it, I forgot. Okay, well, no wonder it covered so. Okay, I'm going to use the Zinc White now. Like I thought I was. Oh, there we go. That's funny. Totally forgot what color was on there. So I was like, man, that's covering a lot, but okay.
So the Zinc White is to give it
A little bit more depth. It's a
more
little softer.
transparency?
Yeah, it's just a little softer. I was going to save the the Titanium White for my last layer. I'm just going to add some Zinc White to these areas so that they have a little bit of that softer transparency. All right, so now I'm going to get my liner brush here, and I'm going to hold it. I'll go ahead and use a little bit of both of these colors, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of green to this. So I'm going to use like 50-50 Titanium White and Zinc White, and my green here that I had mixed before that had a little bit of the burnt umber in it. Okay, a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of the unbleached titanium. All right, so I want this to be fluid so that I can kind of pull through and not really feel a whole lot of resistance. So I'm just going to keep adding water until I have that feel from it. Oh, I'm glad I have a mat down. I just sprinkled water all over the ground. Got my floor covered with it. This acrylic color. Okay, came right off my brush. So I'm going to hold it kind of far back, and what that's going to do is keep me from being too obvious with my brush strokes. So I want to just let this line meander where it wants to go, and kind of just do the tip of it in really random patterns. And the patterns usually kind of run in these little cells, so they'll kind of go apart and then come back together in areas. So if you want to try to do that, that's great, but I wouldn't get too fussy with this. I'm just trying to add some zigzag lines and little thicker areas, but I'm using the liner brush so that I can keep these lines a little bit small. Don't want them to get too, I don't want to cover all my background right away. I just want to add some details, and I'm just looking at my photo to see where I'm seeing some of the biggest areas of the foam gather. And kind of just adding some of these lines in here. And again, holding it kind of farther back just helps it stay a little bit more random, a little bit less, what is the word I'm looking for? manufactured looking, or, you know, just want randomness. That's it. Now, if you're having problems because you can't control it and you want to have a little bit more control, by all means do you know what works for you. But this is giving me kind of these interesting little marks there, and kind of about right in here somewhere they sort of end. So I'm just going to kind of continue them until just before I get to this area right here. So there's just kind of some uninterrupted dark area sort of in between right here and here, and then this area's got all these little foam lines. And just letting them kind of meander down in this area here. And one thing with liner brushes too, if you hold them upright, you can pretty much go in whatever direction you want to. So if I keep the tip of the brush right above my canvas, perpendicular to it, I can move it up and down. I'm moving my whole arm though, and I'm kind of just wiggling my hand in circles, but trying to keep my hand just directly above the canvas, and that way I'm getting these kind of really nice little random foam bits happening. All right, then I'm going to get some of the titanium white. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to mark that out a little bit more. Just a little bit. I'm not like doing a hard outline, but just in places if I, you know, if my initial layer didn't really get a good edge down here, I just want a nice brighter edge right where this meets the sand. Right there. All right, and then we're almost done. This is pretty much it. I'm just going to kind of come back in now and find some of these lines that I like and just kind of make them a little bit thicker, and that will kind of cement the look of it. So just kind of connect up some of these lines, and this time I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate about it because I want to, you know, focus on certain lines. So going in here and connecting these together, and maybe say that line I like, and then maybe this one in here, and just kind of picking out some of these to make a little bit darker, a little bit thicker. Nice. So yeah, we're almost there with this. I'm gonna go in here in my green area and just add some little bits there, and then let's go ahead and grab my knife again. Actually, I'm gonna take it back. I want to do this area right here just a little bit. Whoops. I keep doing that. It's dripping off my brush.
So this painting passes all the criteria required to be hung in the bathroom.
Yes.
So that'll be safe.
Yes.
It has to be ocean themed.
Has to be, okay.
And there you go.
That's the criteria.
Yes.
The end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the only stuff that's allowed in bathrooms.
Okay. I like Nathan's bathroom. Our son has a Darth Vader sipping tea. That one's pretty good.
That's true, yeah.
Not sure how that has to do with bathrooms, but I think it's funny every time I go in his bathroom there, in his house. Okay, so So I'm gonna come back through here. I've got a little bit of the green. So this is kind of like that color that I was using in the foam that I was doing. And I'm just gonna kind of come back over some of these lines here and add a little bit more white. Kind of wish I hadn't done that right there. A little too thick. There we go. I just want to kind of soften up some of this. Let's just go back in with a little bit of random white. Random White, that could be your band name, hun. Random White guy. One of our friends' band named some guy named Rob.
Yeah.
I love it.
With 2 B's.
Huh?
With 2 B's.
Yeah. Yeah, look him up. He's great. Okay.
You did the album art for one of his things, right?
I did. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
A collector's item.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't my finest work. Plus, he gave it to a graphic designer who kind of altered it a lot. So, wasn't rocker enough, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so getting some white here. Just now, this is the titanium white, which I thought this was the first time, but it wasn't. I've been using it all along. But I'm saving it for this big moment, and like, oh wait, I've been using it. So just gonna use it in a few places here, and I think we're almost done. This is, again, very easy. And honestly, at any point that you're happy with it, say stop. You know, you don't have to do all the details that I'm doing or any of that. But this is the point where I would probably go in and dry it completely. So why don't you go ahead and do that, honey? I think, yeah, go ahead and do it one more time because I want to show the glazing medium. So I'm going to clean this off. It might take a minute for it to dry.
Okay.
Hopefully it's...
How about Patreon?
Huh?
How about Patreon?
Yeah, okay.
Stick man.
Huh?
Stick man.
Oh, 2 stick man, yeah. I'm going to leave this because I might use it later. So, but I am going to clean up the rest of this here. I'm just going to go and grab that gel medium off of there. I put out way too much paint, so I might have to cover the back of... If you have paint left over like this, a lot of times what I'll do is just like take it and use it to ground a painting. So just take it and you could even mix it all together and make a neutral color and just use that for the background of on a canvas just to kind of get it started and have a nice, base color for it. So I'll probably use those 3 greens there, the blue and the green, maybe even add the brown to it and paint the background of a canvas with it. And then I just need to mark what's on it because I forget. So I can tell y'all, if you're doing it, you don't have to tell, hopefully you won't have to tell anybody. Wow, I messed up my manicure on there. Look at that. Oh my gosh. What in the world did I do? That is weird. This side isn't like that. I don't know what I did. I think it's when I got into that, got my glove out, I must have rubbed it up against the basket and it made impressions in my nails. Oh well, I can't have good nails. That's why I never did them before I was on YouTube because of this very thing. I can't keep my nails nice. I can't have nice things. All right, I'm gonna make sure that my brushes are clean. Mark was talking about Patreon, so I'll have a traceable for this if you like to have a traceable. It just gives you kind of a starting point, a black and white outline of the drawing. I don't know if I don't have one to show you, but I have them for all of my paintings from 2017 to the present, so several hundred traceables, and those are available on my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Angela Fine Art, all one word. And it gives you unlimited downloads for $2 a month. So, and then for $5 a month, we also do a bonus video. So you get all the traceables, plus you get a bonus video and the reference photos, so the finished paintings, pictures of those, and the traceable, and the reference photo that I use if there is one. I'm trying to see where my picture is that we painted. Oops. Oh, no, it's too far away. I can't get it. But we just finished our boho fox. That is the, actually, I'm going to go get it. Hold on. All right, there we go. Woo, that was the $5 level picture. So it's usually a 3 to 5 hour painting that we do in one setting. So much longer, more in-depth painting. So that's a $5 level. And there's several of those previous, so you could watch this one over and any of the other bonus videos from months and years past. And then for the $10 level, it is all of that plus the challenge image, which is a even more detailed painting that we take and do over the course of a whole month. So I do it on Thursdays with my folks in that group, and there's a Facebook group that you can join, and I do critiques. So this month we're actually they got 2 for 1 because we're doing these large dog canvases, and they're so like simplified and super colorful and fun. There's Fitzpickle, and then I finished him in 2 weeks, and then we had 2 more weeks left to the month, so we decided to do another one. So that's Rowdy, who's one of our members' dogs, and all of our members submitted their dogs, and we took a vote, and Rowdy was the winner. He's got a super smiley face, super cute, been super fun to paint. So anyhow, so that's what we do with our Patreon folks. If you're interested in that, you can go head on over to Patreon and check that out. And we thank you to those who are already our members. You guys have been amazing, and we have so much fun with our Patreon group. And another nice thing is that our new website is almost done. Yay, I'm starting to see previews of it. And so we'll be announcing that more in coming months, coming weeks, but hopefully sometime next month. And the nice thing about that will be that you can go there, and if you're a patron, you can go and download everything you need and watch all the videos and everything right from my website. So we're trying to make it a much easier process to be able to watch and enjoy our videos. All right, so I added some more speckled sand, which is kind of nice because you can still see like a little ghosting of the old layers there after I put down that more pink sand. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I like it. If you want to write some words in the sand, this is the point where you can do that too. So and we might do that here at the end. I'm going to show how to use this. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the self-leveling clear gel because I think it'll give us a little bit smoother application on our canvas. And I'm going to just glop it on here and use this kind of large, look at how it's very like soupy. You can use a brush with it, but I think that this will kind of give me a little bit more control. Just using the palette knife, and look at how nice it goes on kind of thick, but it will dry clear. And so what this will do is just kind of give us a little bit of 3-dimensional. And if we want even more kind of texture, then we would use the gloss gel, because this gel is self-leveling as it says. So what it'll do is just go on here, and then it'll kind of smooth itself out and dry in a clear film over this area, but it'll be just a little bit thicker than the paint, and so you'll be able to kind of see the colors through it. And I can add tinting to this, so like say down here at this bottom, maybe I'll add some of my green, and we'll get like a little bit of a tinting happening. So let's get a little bit of this turquoise here. I should have got my clear gel before I did that. Well, I'll just pour it out. That's fine. All right, that's good. Plenty. All right, so getting that turquoise, and I'm just going to mix it through. Look at how pretty that is. Really beautiful. Just a little bit goes a long way. I probably could have used even less turquoise than that, and I barely touched it. That's really nice. Okay, so we'll use that. Ooh, look at that. Nice. So that's gonna, what it does is give it depth. So now all of this color that's underneath this looks kind of cloudy, just like the water does. We've got all this stuff going on here, and I can go right up to my white, but maybe not over it. And then we'll have this kind of 2 layers here, and we can just kind of meet them up and maybe put a little bit of this blue up in here coming up. I love it. Can you see that?
Yeah, you start to get the feeling of the different depths of the water as you get closer to shore.
Right, exactly. And then I'm going to wipe that off and just use a little bit of the white over the top of this area here. And there's another product. I haven't prepared it. I've got some. Yeah, let me get it. I think it'd be fun. Why not? We're going to grab some string gel. And it's just like it sounds. It creates like little strings of color. So I'm going to use some of this blue glaze and just kind of pull it up here. It's going to kind of randomly mix with what's already here. Nice. I like it. So you can kind of see what we've got going on there if I hold it up to the light. And it will, it's already starting to kind of pool. I want to lay it flat though, so that it can kind of do its thing but doesn't pull down here. But let me show you the string gel. I haven't used this in a long time, so it probably needs to be
Shook.
No, you don't shake it. You mix it. It's clear tar gel.
Okay, so the first was self-leveling clear
Yeah,
gel.
I showed it when you were
Yeah, well, somebody
drying.
just asked.
Okay, yeah,
So I'm making
yeah,
sure
yeah.
that's the name.
Yeah, self-leveling clear gel is this one that I'm using, the thinner of the two. Really, any kind of gel medium would work though. So all these gels are pretty much the same ingredient, which is acrylic polymer emulsion. So it's going to have, basically it's paint, what's in our heavy body acrylics are acrylic paints without any pigment in it. So it's just basically pure emulsion, pure acrylic polymer, and that's what makes acrylic paints. But it's in different consistencies. So this one is going to be more thin and will kind of self-level out. This one, the gloss gel, will be thicker. It will hold its shape. So I'll show you that. I didn't show it to you. I used this kind in the last one, but you see how thick it is, and it's like a paste, but it dries completely clear. And I wish I had that other one, but I did a one with rocks, one very similar to this with rocks last year that I used this with. So, and I mixed up way too much of it. So I learned my lesson. A little bit goes a long way. No, it's somewhere. I just don't have it handy. It's in the other room somewhere. Yeah, in the storage. Okay, so let's get the clear tar gel out. And this is sometimes called string gel, or I can't think of the other name for it that I've seen, but I'm going to get a long palette knife. Let me see.
Do you need that?
Why not? We're just playing with mediums right now. So, all right, so this just has to be stirred. And just stir it until it starts to, what happens is it starts to get thin. It gets a little thinner as it gets stirred, and it'll start to create these nice thin lines. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. That's a good side shot. there of the, so this is, and it'll create these little strings of, and I'm just gonna stir. No, it's gonna be a while, but sorry. But you just have to do this until it gets to the right consistency, which you can kind of tell it'll start to just feel a little bit thinner. I don't know. It's the only explanation I can have for it.
It loosens up.
It loosens up. Yeah, that's the word. And I might want to have, I don't have a cup here. I was going to say I might have, if I wanted to add some white to it.
Do you like a solo cup?
Yeah, or just a small, like, here, well, I've got, yeah, never mind. Mark's going to get me a little solo cup to use. Solo cup is a little deep. I kind of want it more narrow, but just something that you can use for this. But what this will do is create those like lines that we did, and it'll be texture on top of the self-leveling gel, which is not really leveling out very well for me, which is totally fine. I think I messed with it too much while it was trying to dry. Okay, perfect, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to just scoop some of this into here. I don't need a lot of it. A little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to squirt in some white because I want it to be kind of white. But I think I'm going to do the Zinc White because that way it'll be a little bit transparent. So just do a little bit of that.
So all these gels can be tinted?
Yeah, they can all be tinted. Well, that's all the acrylic paint is really, is this, you know, this is just the basic base for it. So all we're adding is the pigment from the paints. And so they can extend your paints quite a bit. You know, if you use heavy body acrylics a lot and you're doing a large canvas, you can add the gel mediums, especially to your base layers, and really extend out your paint. You can't hardly even tell. You can really do it almost fit like, I think 50-50 gel to paint ratio, and you won't be able to tell the color difference at all till you get about, you know, a little bit past that. So I'm going to keep on doing this. Sorry, this is just kind of a last minute little doodad, but we had some time. We got done early, so I thought, why not? We'll pull out some of these mediums that we don't use that often.
Okay, so what's in that again?
I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm just going to spritz a little bit of water. Oh, I can add glazing medium too. I'm going to add my glazing liquid to this. It says I can add glazing liquid. I'm going to do that.
Got a little concoction going on here.
Well,
I like it.
yeah.
So you got...
And the glazing liquid is also acrylic polymer. It's acrylic medium with an extender in it. So it'll give us a little bit more drying time.
Okay, so you got clear tar gel.
Clear tar gel.
Water, glazing medium, and what else?
And white, zinc white.
Zinc white, okay.
Okay, that looks good. And I've used this in a squirt bottle before, so I've used it that way. And you can do this and then kind of let it set if you're worried about bubbles, because it can get bubbles in it. At this point, you can kind of let it set and then use it. But mine's been sitting in that jar for a couple of years, so I felt like it needed to be cleared out. It seemed like it was doing better before I added the paint to it. It was thinner, more fluid, doing its gel thing. I might have added a little too much of the paint. And I don't do this a ton, so hopefully if I'm doing this wrong, I'm sorry. This is how I've done it before, so it may be the totally wrong way of doing it, but
So it works? There you go.
There we go. There we go. That should work. Okay. So I'm just gonna take it. I'm trying to get enough of it on here so it's not gonna come off in a big glob. There we go. Do you see that? I don't know if you can tell what's happening there, but
we're all holding our breath.
it's not really doing what it's supposed to be doing here. I probably shouldn't have added the white to it.
So what is it doing?
Well, it's clumping a little bit more than I like. It's supposed to really come off really smoothly, and it's not doing that. Like it's kind of clumping.
Like a cake icing?
Well, like it was doing before here in this. Let me try it just straight from the bottle here. It just comes off in a long string. So, yeah, see how it's doing? It's kind of... I think the paint made it a little too thick. It wasn't doing this. To just these crazy little lines and things. I'll hold it up to the light here in a minute once it is done. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so that's a clear. So I'll have some parts that are clear and some parts that are white too. And it's a little bit thick in areas, but you can always paint over this. So all of these mediums, you know, you don't have to leave them as is. I could go back in here once this is dry and add more color to them. I can pull down a little bit. I think I'm going to pull down on some of this. Where it got thick, just kind of push some of those thicker areas out.
Zoomed in a little bit just to...
And I am seeing air bubbles in it too, so. But I didn't mind the air bubbles too much because foam has air bubbles in it, you know, so it kind of, for this application, I didn't really mind having that look to it. It will kind of dry and have these little air pockets. But let me see. Let me turn this on. Is that on? It is on. I was trying to get a side shine on it. There we go. You can kind of see. There we go. That's the shot there. Just that kind of, see how much texture it's got now from all those gels and things happening on the surface. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's let that dry, and again, I could do another layer on it. I'm not 100% sure. I love what that tar gel did on there, but it was an experiment. You can't, you know, you can't know until you try it. So
exactly. Break out of the shell.
Yeah,
let's do it. This is kind of like leading up to Oak Island. I think that's what this painting is referencing to.
It's Oak Island.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a shipwreck.
Ah, nice.
There, some Bobby Dazzlers.
Is where the Knights Templar hid the Holy Grail, and and the Mayans held all of the Mayan treasure and the ancient Roman treasures.
Yeah, yeah.
And
anybody who had treasure,
all of the pirate treasure that's lost, everything.
Like a memo went out,
and they're all like,
and it said, "Hey, if you have any treasure, come store it here."
Hey, we got a nice.
Good advertising campaign.
You'll never get it back because we're gonna booby trap it, so nobody can ever get back down to get it. But you can leave it with us, and it'll be safe. That's the mystery of Oak Island that I don't understand. Somebody tell me what the logic is there.
So if you were going to go with some of the themes for some of these other paintings, would you go boho starfish or
What are you talking about?
Boho Wilson on this one.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Wilson.
I know, but what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, just trying to tie in your different.
Theme it? Oh, okay.
We're gonna do boho stuff.
All right. Do we want to do Aloha on here?
I don't.
You don't?
But it's your painting. I don't care. Do it. Aloha is pretty cool.
Well, I can tell. I can show it without. Let me show it on paper. You don't think we want the Aloha on there? I'll just show you. So I'll pick a color that's like our dark sand color, and I'm gonna go dark, and I'm just gonna tap my letters. So tap them so they have a nice irregular look to them. I'm using a number 2 round here. And again, it could say anything. You could have a heart shape. I did a heart shape once for this, so I think it's fun to kind of do them in different, a little, different size like that, like it looks handwritten. And then you're going to take the next color down, so just a lighter version of that. I don't have my unbleached titanium here, so I'm just going to use white. But
yeah, somebody said that you would not paint Aloha on the coast of Oak Island. It's
no,
a whole other part of the world.
That's true.
Even though they got coconut fibers.
Somebody brought coconuts over.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go in the middle here. I'll leave a little bit of the dark on both sides on this picture. And that's pretty much all you need to do. If you want to get super fancy, you could go back through and add a little bit more dark on one side to make it look even more shadowed, or add a little bit on the sand around it to make it look like there's a shadow on the sand around it, but that's it. So you can see, super easy to do, and you just add a little extra detail there, but we're not doing it on ours, I guess. So that's it.
You can do it on
No,
yours.
it's fine. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Totally fine. All right, there we go. So there you have it. Really fun little easy, hopefully, project. We added a few little extra, things just that I had hanging around the house. But even if you don't have that clear gloss gel layer, you can just varnish it and it'll get that shiny texture too. You could use like a matte varnish on the top here, or even if you wanted to get fancy, even fancier on this part, you can add sand to your paint and paint it on with like sand texture, or sprinkle sand over the top and it'll stick into your paint. There's all kinds of different things you can do, or there's also like mediums that have grit to them that you could add to your this area up in here. And then again, like I said, like varnish it with this top part with the matte varnish, and then do the bottom part with a gloss varnish, and that give you 2 different textures. All kinds of really fun things that you can do to adapt this. But hope you guys liked it. Really fun kind of start to the. It's still spring here, but it's a good like project you could do with your kids this summer. Maybe get out some paints and take them outside and let them have some fun.
So you answered.
And if you don't have, go ahead. If you don't have palette knives, you can use a credit card to scrape on this color. So just use like an old plastic card, and and you can cut the cards into shapes too. You could use like this. You can use your credit cards and just scrape it on with that, and just the same as we did with the palette knives. Or you can use like a spoon, like a plastic spoon. You could work, just all kinds of different things you can use. You don't have to have all these fancy tools that I have. All right, go.
Okay, so you answered one of the questions that we had, which was varnishing. So you said matte on top and gloss on bottom.
Yeah, I would probably do matte medium up here, matte varnish on top, just to give it a different texture. Yeah, and then gloss varnish on bottom.
Okay, and what would you use to put like tank tracks in the sand. Oh, super chat.
Are you trying to distract me from that question?
Just saying. All right, we get a super chat from Karen. She says, "Thank you, Angela and Mark. Learning so much. Y'all
Aw.
make my day so much brighter."
That's awesome. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen. She's
Aw.
from Texas.
Yay.
So she threw in the y'all.
I like it. Y'all. Yes. Thank y'all.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your support.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Appreciate it. I didn't add the white, the sky reflections that are here, but you could add that too if you wanted to. Yeah, you could add it with that white gel that we were using. This stuff, I could scrape it on down here and kind of do that real quick. Just the string gel again can go on kind of like a regular gel. It doesn't have to be put on like a, you know, in a string. You can use it just like the other gel that I used. So it's all the same type of stuff. It's just kind of different consistencies. So don't feel like you have to buy all the gels. You know, when I first was like learning about them, I thought I had to get all of them. So I had like little samples of all of them. Oh, it got brown all over me. Okay.
It's on your fingertip.
I know. And then I got it on the side of my hand too. This is why I don't do watercolors, if anybody ever wondered, because I'm so messy. I'm too messy. You can ruin a whole painting just like that with watercolors. If I got this brown on here, I could wipe it off as long as my paint was dry. But all right, I think that's it. All right, thanks guys so much. Was that it? What?
We got one question that
Okay.
just came in.
Do you use heavier gel to get it in impasto texture? Yes, yes. So if I wanted thicker, I would use the gloss gel. And they have heavy gloss gel, which is just thicker than the regular gloss gel. And I think they even have extra heavy gloss gel that's just like, you know, super thick. So yes, all of that, any of those will work great for more texture if you want it. And then and that's what I used on the last one that I did that was similar to this, that had the beach rocks. I used that heavy gloss gel on it. And so you can see that if you want to watch that other video. Just look up on my channel there. If you go to the homepage, I think we've got our nautical playlist up. So that it's in that playlist. All right.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys, so much. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back on Saturday with the last video of April. And then I'm going to be coming out with my new schedule for May coming up this week sometime. So be looking for that if you're interested. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.